Welcome to another edition of Channel for the Soul Live. 8 p.m. is a little late for the majority of people, so I know that 9 times out of 10 people are going to be joining me after the fact. And that's the nation of Islam. So we're going to talk about these visions that people know. I often come through with celebrities, and there's a vision of, we're going to talk about celebrity status symbols, right? That's part of it. Before I go into the nature of the soul of Madonna and what that vision is bringing through, I want to talk about the religious, righteous warriors that are being called upon in the names of heaven and hell, right? These are those visions of many who are coming through in the moment, telling people you don't have what it takes to get to that highest level of love for all souls. If you did, you wouldn't be reuniting us with those who were considered to be of hell in the minds of many during those visions of sexual appetite, destruction, opening up, flowering up. Those are those visions of, I had to deal with that in my mind and in my thought processes. My family tree gave me those expressions as beauty. I'm not here to tell people how to behave. What I am here to do is to show you how I can reunite with my own vision of who I was as a glorious soul. So these are those ideas of the religious souls that might be saying, oh, I want to be able to contact, this woman's vision. If you do want to contact me for your own soul session, please be advised it's going to be hard to get a hold of me at some point in time, because I will be reuniting in the vision of the collective consciousness. So this is where we go, people. She's part of us. You are part of us. The Taliban is part of us. Every religion is part of us. Every spiritual warrior or vagabond is part of us. And so this is the nature of, where do those warriors go, right? I was the one that said my career and my body are my own business. I don't need to discuss who I am or how I got where I got. It's not about revealing intimate details about who she was in her heart in the moment, right? It's part of it. Her expose on her life is very public. Her experience as a soul is very strong. She has her own heart on her sleeve in many ways. She keeps herself protected in her mind. And by doing those visions of love of various faiths, she was able to see the beauty, and still is, of many, even in their own victim mindset. She's very much in touch with who she is as a woman and as a creature of habit. She's a creature of habit, and she vibrates in the beauty of it. It makes me feel strong to know what's going to happen. I'm vibrating in the beauty of compulsive behavior at one point. I want to be held in my heart and in my soul. I want to rise to the level of love that I see others. It's like portrayal of unity. She sees us as one big victim in its output of creative ability. So for her, she was labeled the slut, the whore, the warmonger. In her mind, she's like, I went to war for people in my own way. I did it through my own experience. And I said, this is who I am. Get used to it. I'm the badass one, right? It's in that vein of it. She was held in the heart of many. This is not about the fact of this vision that she isn't now. She still is. But she feels the aging of her body. It's not as easy to get the attention of many as it used to be. I still put out beautiful work. I still put out beautiful visions of love for all. Whether or not you agree with me or not makes no difference. That's her soul. She's of enlightenment in her heart. She made it there in her mind. I went to the furthest reaches of the world, and I saw people for who they were. She's very perceptive of who people are in the moment. She'll take a snapshot of herself and put it on the internet and say, look at me now. This is who I am now. This is who I am in my past. She doesn't revel in her past. She owns her past. She says, I was beautiful always, and I will always align with that vision of I'm always beautiful. I don't ever have to apologize for being the beautiful woman that I am and that I embody as a soul. I'm embodied as a goddess in her heart, but it comes through in various ways because of the faiths that she has embodied in her heart. It can get a little tricky for her sometimes, but she will say the Jewish vision is her strength in certain ways. That's the nature of it. It opens you up to a different alignment of Christianity that's not exactly what many would think is the right one. Okay, we all have this idea of I'm right and you're wrong. I can tell you about the Bible too. That's the nature of Brenda. Okay, her Solomon vision can come through for those of you that need those religious instructions. But it's more about the idea of those who want to hear from the soul of Madonna. She's like, I could tell you about the Bible. It's a difference in understanding when she was going to align with that of the Pope. Madonna is coming through because of that vision. Don't dishonor his soul. His soul made amends with the devil in her heart. That's the whole thing. We often place those people in those realms in our minds and say, I would never do such a disservice to a soul. We may have those visions in our hearts, right? They're in our minds. Our hearts are pure when we come here. We do the service of God is where most go. She has her own Christ-centered soul in essence, but it's more like my family tree conditioned me in the vision of Catholicism, and I still cherish it to this day. It gave me the start that I needed in order to be able to break free from it and see where I land. That's where she's at. I see where I land when I go down a path. I don't expect the best for everybody. I can see those visions of those who want to make it, right? We assume that the idea of celebrity is somehow going to, catapult us into some kind of vision of stardom. It's about the nature of whose messages are worthy of the vision, right? This is about love for all souls. And those souls who were demonized in their faiths are often the ones that get the attention of many. Okay. Now, for those of you who say, I need proof, this is not about trying to convince anybody about who she is in her mind right now. Her soul has her own privacy boundaries as well. There will always be that in place for those of notoriety or fame or stardom, okay? They don't all get their hearts handed to them either. Okay, some celebrities do come through with various visions of the hatred aspect of it, but it's because they work their magic through it. We're not here to say that all of us reside on one plane of heaven and just sit there and vibrate in the beauty of who we are. We do that vision very well. We do that vision very nicely. And she's like, I enjoy my life. I embody the vision of sexual goddess in my heart and in my mind. And my mind is my creative masterpiece coming through. Very beautiful. That's the nature of her soul. She loves to be seen as the sexual exotic woman that she is. She's able to embody it, and she expresses it to everybody, right? It's her own internal process of what I show you isn't always who I am. I confront sexuality in my music and in my videos. My concerts are of the highest, and I will always be there for her. That's what she says. Come to my concert and you'll feel the vibration of it. It's a beautiful expression of love. Light years ahead of many in her vision of love for all souls. She embraced those who were of alternative methods of love, healing, vibratory medicine. She's all over it. She loves it. She wishes she could do more of the energy healing on her body. It would have helped her in her dance. Because in essence, she put up with a lot of pain during the early years in order to make it. She pushed herself so hard that she is paying the price for it in certain ways. Now, what this means is, as a soul, her soul is saying, I will align with those who know how to heal my heart first. It's not about the body. We want our minds to be held up, loved, cherished, adored. That's the nature of who we are for the most part as souls here on this plane of existence. And when we don't get it from our loved ones, or are we rejected by it, I was loved always, eternally. That's who we are. So for those of you who say, I'm placing others in those vibrations of hell or high water, right? Come hell or high water, you're going to start to find those visions of, I love my soul supports me in every way, shape, or form. That's the beauty of soul vibration. She knows it, she understands it. She wishes she could tap into the nature of it, but in essence, her soul is saying, you're so freaking beautiful, you don't even know the strength of how many people you lifted up with your music. That would be the message for her from her soul. She knows it on one hand, but she doesn't understand the nature of how the vibratory music of her soul is what lifts people into that vibration of, I'm free to be me. That's the beauty of it. It lets us be who we are. Now, for those of you who copied her in her vision, she says, please do your vision. She honors those who were like her, but she's like, I kind of rejected a lot of them and said they were sucky. But she says, I would have honored that vision as a soul. And as I aged, I started to realize the visions of love for those who emblematically reject everybody. She has someone in her heart who rejected every single soul that came across the screen, who portrayed themselves as a sexual being. Okay? We were taught not to do that. We were taught to hold ourselves tightly in our vibration and our bodies. It was in the minds. The vibration of my being is very expansive in its energy. She knows she can hit those high notes with her music, so when she vibrates in the beauty of who she is, she can enter those states of trance or of lightly entering those higher realms of love. It's the ecstatic state of awareness that she knows how to hit. She's also very determined to keep going for a while. She has strength in the mind, so she's a determined woman and a determined soul. So her soul beats very high in that vibration of love for all, except she doesn't express it in the way that many would think. She knows that her art form is what is allowing that to happen here on this plane. Now her soul is also very conditioned in that idea of I am of soul, but it's a conditioning of the vision of love. So there are people on the screen who would say, I'm of God, not of soul. But in essence, they just want to hit those high notes of God in their mind. She's of God, but of creative achievements as well. We don't walk in the Native American light. So in her vision, she would be like, oh, I get it. I honor those visions. She wouldn't want to go to that vision in her heart as much as she does for her own being of, my experience wasn't as strong in those religious realms of others. I just went to the ones that made sense for me. I studied all souls as much as I could, and I got a very good idea about what was going on. So she aligns with the beauty of all, but she still holds on to the fact that she has her own ideas about the world and what it should be like for others. Freedom for the majority of us. life for all. She's very much of that idea of we need to preserve the vision of life for all of our hearts. Okay? Now, in essence, she would contradict some of the visions in her mind, but if she sat down with her soul, she would start to unwind some of those visions of less than as a child that she felt. She would say, I was always of strength, but that's the difference. We sometimes forget the views that our parents put onto us and that we had to vibrate out of in our hearts, right? It's a mindset conditioning, but the heart is still there, beating carefully with many. She doesn't want to portray herself as weak, nor is she ever going to. That's how strong she is in her mind. So that's the nature of her vibration is, if you're around me, you're going to embody the vision of strength and love. Now the conditioning would say, I am weak in certain areas. She's not going to say it on the screen, but she would own it in the moment and say she's on top of it. I may not be the best performer in the moment, but I sure have my moments of it still. And when she says that, it's like, I have my moments where I don't feel strong. I have my moments where I feel the fading of my energy. I have the energy of love coming to me strong, though. And when that energy from the audience impacts me, it still brings me the joy that it used to, unless it's one of my off nights. Sometimes she's like, I don't give a blank about the audience. I just need to get my message out. That's where she was at certain points. I have a message and I don't care if you like it or not. Now those in the crowd would say, we love her. It came and went. No person of faith is ever going to align with someone like her, right? It's not about that. It's about her love for her heart. She's the beauty of soul coming through strong. She honors the vision of Jesus as a soul savior, and she honors the vision of love for all. It's like she's the missions vision, the missions of the world, the Catholic visions she had to overcome in her heart were not about trying to disgrace the church. It was about, I need to find who I am, because I'm not feeling comfortable, nor am I accepted in the beauty of who I am in this plane of understanding. From other planes of understanding, she would be just fine. This is where we have to vibrate in that vision of, I'm not always going to say the right thing at the right time. She can blow it when it comes to saying certain things, on camera or off. That's the nature of Madonna's vision. And this is the nature of who we are. Sometimes we say things that come across very strong and people take offense to it. And then the anger that comes at her is horrific. And she had to build up that prison that she put herself in. She would call it a prison at one point. It was like feeling like I had to be in a prison of my own mind, telling myself over and over and over, I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you think of me, because it's brutal for souls who are of fame. Don't always honor the vision of love, right? I had to hate people to get them out of my mindset. That was her vision of, I used hate in my heart to get out of it. So she had to embody the vision of hatred only for certain souls. And she would honor that vision of, there are certain souls in her heart that she says, I would honor them now, but I used the hatred to guide me away from them. Okay, she had to leave certain ideals and ideas of who she thought she was behind. It became an act at some point. And she said, I need to know more. I need to know more. How many people in this planet, on this plane, are carrying the guilt and the repression of soul visions from other realms around their neck? It's not the same for everybody. Some people, I align with the Jesus soul as it's like a Christ-centered soul. The Savior is there for many. The afterlife is where many are afraid to see who they come up against in that vision. See, if you're planting the seeds, she's like, I'm going to be having a good time in the afterlife. She knows that vision. She's like, I'll align with those who align with me, who want to have fun, who want to gain weight. She's like, don't gain weight in the missions vision. How many people are assuming that there's a lot of spiritual alignment stuff that needs to be unwound as well? She says she's going to do it. This lady here does it. She unwinds a lot of the stuff that holds us back from being beautiful in the moment. Now, with that being said, how many people want to know what aloha means to another soul? Okay, so it's going to start to wind down. Aloha means, hello in Hawaiian. We all know that. It's a guidance message for her soul. She knows the vision of Hawaii is having a struggle at some point, and she's saying, I often go there with peace in my heart. Now, there's a reason that someone is taking that on. Okay, and it could be that someone here is needing to hear that word brought to them. Okay, but in essence, it's just a little sample of what can be brought through for those of us who might want to understand that our souls do create with love, honor, achievement. That's her soul. I was of achievement. I'm the achiever of the family. I made it. I made it big. I did the work. And now she's looking for it's like the repercussions of the struggle of dance are playing out in her life. And she needs to find more of those visions of relief. And in essence, I could say that her heart and her soul would say, align with those of energy that know how to take it to the next level and open up to the nature of embodiment. And then you don't have to worry about the pain as much as others who go down the path of, I need to be healed. It is the beauty of soul embodiment that will align with the majority of people at some point. It's the process for those who are very much in alignment of, I can be there in the moment. 9 out of 10 on the Richter scale, right? Those earthquakes. No, this is a 9 out of 10 when it comes to the idea of a soul session. So what we want to do is we want to end on a high note. We want to end on the beauty of love. We want to end on the beauty of wisdom. The guidance for the soul is a beautiful vision. It's also of guidance. Anything that comes through in the vision of channeling would always be under the umbrella of guidance. Some of you are getting confused about the difference. Channeling is often more intense for those who are bringing that through. It is not about a disservice to any soul that claims they are of soul vision or guidance or anything. She's brave. That's the nature of what it takes, right? It's not taking bravery to embody your soul. Find the beauty in it, the fun, the adventure. That's the spirit to go with. Align with those who can take you on an adventure and the ride of your life. That's the nature of what soul embodiment does. So with that, I want to say thank you for watching. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening or day, depending on when you're watching this. And may peace be with us all. Good night.